6 women just did the same flight that he didn't. Oh, I just want to keep hugging you.
Lots of other people in the media were embarrassing themselves during this ordeal. Oprah Winfrey actually wept as she watched the all-female team launch into space.
And think about how many resources went into putting these women into space. For what? I'm disgusted, literally.
There was a time when Katy Perry didn't just sell out stadiums, she dominated them.
Katy Perry jumped out of the aircraft and kissed the ground in a painfully cringe moment that has been roasted online.
I'm going to tell you something right now. You are officially an astronaut.
Thank you so much.
How do you feel?
I feel super connected to love.
Well, it was very profound. I don't know if you've seen Katy Perry talk about it, but she's basically a guru now.
Look at us. We're very wealthy. Don't we look great? Admire us.
Her teenage dream tour redefined pop spectacle. The Prismatic World Tour, a full Technicolor fantasy. And now, she's stepping into her latest era. Older, wiser, reborn from space. Or at least, that's how it was supposed to go.
Whoever came up with this title, give this guy a freaking raise. Tell me how this is not awesome. Astronaut.
I'm much better now that the ladies are back from space.
What were they up there, 10 minutes?
Let's not minimize this. Let's celebrate female astronauts.
That's the other thing. There has been female astronauts.
Let's not minimize this.
But now, as tickets quietly go unsold in key markets, upper sections of arenas are being curtained off, and venues are scrambling to rework seating maps. The harsh reality is setting in. The demand just isn't there.
I hope they can see the unity that we modeled and replicate that and understand that we weren't just taking up space, we were making space.
The crew who flew in space this week on an automated flight by Blue Origin were glam. But you cannot identify as an astronaut.
This tour was designed to be the victory lap, the grand post-space rebrand, the legacy-cementing celebration of a star who had gone to the edge of the Earth and come back transformed. Instead, she's walking on stage to rows of empty chairs.
You look ridiculous. Everybody looks ridiculous. This isn't a moment for feminism. That's a dick rocket that was designed, flown, and paid for by men, and you are simply baggage on that rocket. That's all it is.
Astronaut conspiracy theories swirl about Katy Perry's fake Blue Origin space mission.
Everything started with good intentions. Katy's Blue Origin launch was hyped as a personal milestone, a transformation story.
Just show the legendary landing real quick, Rob. This is such a beautiful moment. This may be greater than us landing. Look at it. Look at the way it lands to the ground. None of them break their backs. Look at this. Watch. Wow.
Southwest Airlines lands just like that.
It's a freaking music. It's awesome.
Woman went to space for like 4 minutes. What is she kissing the ground for? Pointing up at the sky.
Katy! Woo!
And to the guy, woo, Katy, yeah. Dumb, bro.
It was the kind of moment artists dream of using to level up. It had all the elements: spiritual growth, emotional reflection, physical risk, and a pop star showing the world she wasn't just a performer anymore. She was more.
I'm going to tell you something right now. You are officially an astronaut.
Thank you so much.
How do you feel?
I feel super connected to love.
This is so tough.
However, there's been some critics saying some stuff in it.
Really?
Rob, I don't know if you have any of the critic stuff or not. Do you have any of the stuff on how they open the door first and then they have to reopen the door and they have to say, go back in there, and then Jeff Bezos falls. Poor guy's tripping. He's having a hard time.
But the narrative slipped out of her hands fast. First came the skepticism. Was it a PR stunt? Was it genuine? Was it just rich person tourism dressed up in emotional marketing? Then came The Simpsons, South Park, then came Joe Rogan, the lawsuit, the edits, the memes. What should have been a clean evolution spiraled into a disconnect. People weren't inspired. They were confused, turned off, even annoyed. And that emotional momentum Katy hoped to bring into her tour, it evaporated before the first ticket link even went live.
I'm going to tell you something right now. You are officially an astronaut.
Bro.
Not the cap.
Stupid.
Let me tell you right now, Katy, you're officially an astronaut.
I guess I'm a freaking brain surgeon then. I couldn't. Wow, I can't believe she even said. How do you even format your lips to say something so stupid?
This isn't about one city underperforming. This is a pattern. Major stops like Denver, Minneapolis, and even parts of Southern California, areas that Katy once owned, are now showing red flags. Multiple venues have quietly slashed prices. SeatGeek and Ticketmaster are flooded with resale listings priced under $30. Entire upper decks are blocked out. Insiders at Live Nation and AEG are calling it unexpectedly soft performance. But fans on the ground are being less polite. TikToks showing half-empty arenas are racking up millions of views. Posts with captions like, "Katy deserves better, but this is brutal," and $18 front row seats, ouch, are trending. The worst part? It's not hate. It's apathy. People aren't dragging her, they're just not going. And for a performer who built her career on being larger than life, the absence is louder than the criticism ever could be.
The worst part is when there's people starving in other countries and we're clapping and cheering. Like, bro, this is wild. And then Katy Perry steps out, starts kissing the ground. Bro, the stories write themselves. Like, we are living in a Black Mirror episode. Like, what is this, bro? Yeah.
Which one is this, Rob? Tell us.
This is the door being opened from the inside.
Watch this.
What's going to come out of
They're not supposed to open the door yet.
her
Look, they're like, close the door!
Is that Jeff Bezos out there right by the capsule? Kind of hard to see. That is correct. That is Jeff Bezos, our founder.
He has to step up with the official doohickey thing.
Let's be honest, this isn't just about Blue Origin. It's about accumulation, the space trip, the lawsuit, the awkward interviews, the crying clips, the "I saw Earth and it changed me" quotes. The public watched it all. And for many, it tipped Katy from earnest to exhausting. Even longtime fans have started backing away. There's a sense of emotional fatigue, like the version of Katy they once loved. The cheeky, self-aware California girl next door has been replaced by someone more curated, more self-serious, and way harder to relate to. And in pop culture, once people stop seeing you as fun, the tickets stop selling. Fast. Be real. Would you still pay to see Katy live right now? Or has the vibe changed too much? Is she evolving or losing touch with the fans who made her? Sound off in the comments. I want to know who's still riding for her and who's stepping away.
I gotcha. Oh, the moon. You guys, I will have to tell you, look at the moon.
Doing a whole bunch of nothing.
For us watching her
Look, I brought my little butterfly.
Behind closed doors, the industry is watching. And not just because it's Katy. They're watching because this is a test case, a superstar trying to turn a spiritual rebrand into a box office draw. And it's not working. One source at a major label described it bluntly. If Katy can't fill rooms post-Blue Origin, then nobody can sell Reinvention anymore. That's the real fear. Because artists everywhere are trying to grow up, evolve, find new lanes. But if the public is rejecting even someone as established as Katy, it sends a message. You can't change the story mid-career without consequences. Add to that the fact that The Simpsons and South Park are still floating in the public memory. Every time someone Googles her name, a cartoon pops up before a tour date. Every time someone considers buying a ticket, the comments say, "Save your money." Even worse, there's a sense that her team didn't see this coming, that they walked into this tour with confidence, and now they're scrambling behind the scenes to course correct in real time.
Rob, what else you got? Because there's a bunch of them.
I have Gayle King claiming that it was sexist.
Go ahead and play this clip. Go ahead, Rob.
I don't like that people are calling it a ride. A ride, you never see a male astronaut who's going up in space and they said, oh, he took a ride. We actually duplicated the route that Alan Shepard did. That's why it's called, this particular capsule is called the New Shepard. We duplicated that route. No one said he took that ride. Yeah. It's always referred to as a flight or a journey. So I feel that that's a little disrespectful to what the mission was and what the work that Blue Origin
was. They went on
space technology.
Right now, Katy Perry's team is facing a brutal decision. Do they power through, hoping the narrative flips? Do they cut certain cities and consolidate dates to save face? Or do they pull back, reframe, and try to salvage her legacy before this gets worse? Because the truth is, this isn't about one tour. This is about trajectory. And if she can't reverse this downward slope fast, It won't just be her concerts in question, it'll be her future in music, in media, in culture. As a whole, this was supposed to be a spiritual return. Instead, it's starting to look like the quiet beginning of an exit.
Flint, I gotcha.
The moment low ticket numbers started showing up in mid-size markets, Katy's team began spinning. What started as slow pre-sales turned into venue reshuffling. Entire sections were curtained off. VIP packages were quietly pulled. And in some cities, local promoters were told to stop using the word tour altogether, framing the shows as intimate Katy Perry experiences instead. Translation, they were shrinking the shows without calling them flops. Internally, sources say meetings became frantic. Publicists were pushing press opportunities that had previously been declined. Brand partners were asking for updated audience data. One tour consultant even suggested Katy rebrand the entire rollout mid-tour, change the visuals, drop the spaceflight branding, and lean into nostalgia instead. But by then, it was too late. The public had already formed an opinion. And worse, the press had started circling.
Look, I understand that it started a lot of conversations, and he was one of many collaborators that I collaborated with.
Entertainment journalists weren't supposed to care this much. It's just another pop tour, right? Wrong. Katy's post-Blue Origin journey had become such a meme, such a conversation, that every half-empty arena turned into a symbol. Not of one star falling, but of the industry's deep fear that fame no longer guarantees loyalty, and that public reinvention is a risk more than a reward. And the media ran with it. Katy Perry's earthly return hits a bump. Is her tour in trouble? From stardom to seat sales. What happened to Katy? She touched the stars, but can't fill a stadium. Writers weren't being cruel. They were being clinical, and for an artist like Katy, someone who's used to press cheering her comebacks, that shift? Devastating.
And think about how many resources went into putting these women into space. For what? I'm disgusted, literally.
Katy's tour isn't just a creative venture, it's a business. And business means partners. Fashion labels, streaming sponsors, beverage brands, merch distributors, fragrance deals. Every ticket sold tells those partners, this is a name people still believe in. But when sales start stalling, those same partners start sending emails. Some ask for contract adjustments, others pause deliverables. A few pull out altogether, citing creative realignment or timing conflicts. In real terms, they're backing away before they get dragged into the flop. One insider close to a fragrance collaboration said the quiet part out loud. It's not that she's over, it's that she's overexposed, and no one knows how to make her feel. Fresh again, and that's the deeper problem. Katy doesn't have a scandal. She has a saturation issue, and no one knows how to fix it.
Right, gladiator tie off. Bonus. Look at that. My back would have been shattered. You see it? How sick is that? Right? Just like motivating.
Katy's loyal fan base, the ones who've been there since one of the boys, are torn. Some are still defending her, pushing back on the media narrative, and begging others to give her this new era a chance. But others, quietly stepping away. Not because they don't love her, but because they don't recognize her anymore. The spaceflight, the lawsuit, the overly serious captions, the vibes have shifted, and even the stands are starting to feel it. What once felt playful now feels like performance. What once felt cheeky now feels choreographed. The authenticity they connected to is being drowned in cosmic branding and PR gloss. And the worst part? There's no clear way back. If your favorite artist started feeling more like a brand than a person, would you still support them? Or take a break until they came back down to earth? Let me know in the comments, because this shift hits harder than people want to admit. Her team is considering every option now. Should she do a full documentary confessional? A stripped-down ballad release mid-tour to reconnect with the fans? Maybe cancel a few underperforming shows to focus on the big ones? There's talk of pulling in guest stars, doing TikTok-friendly acoustic sessions, rewriting the show's structure to be less theatrical and more real. But here's the thing. The public knows when it's strategy. The only thing that can save Katy's tour now is Katy herself. Not the brand, not the space explorer, not the lawsuit plaintiff. The person, the woman who used to laugh at herself, who wore cupcake bras, who danced with Left Shark, who made us feel like pop didn't have to be perfect to be powerful. That version of her is still in there, but time is running out. And if she doesn't show up soon, the rest of the tour might slip away before she even realizes it. After weeks of bad headlines, viral clips of empty arenas, and mounting pressure from every side, Katy Perry finally responded. No press conference, no tell-all, just a clean black and white photo of her sitting backstage in costume, hands clasped, captioned simply, "You don't need a packed room to feel the music. If one person shows up, I'll sing for them." It was sincere, vulnerable, exactly what her team hoped would soften the tone and shift the narrative. But the internet didn't bite, because to a lot of people, it didn't feel empowering. It felt like damage control. And worse, it arrived too late. Not because she took her time, but because the conversation had already moved on without her. You'd think a heartfelt post like that would spark sympathy. Instead, the reactions were complicated. Some fans rallied, of course, posted hearts, told her they were proud, begged others to be kinder. But that support was dwarfed by the louder voices, people who weren't being hateful, but were clearly done. The comments were polite, even sad. "We love you, but this isn't it. Maybe it's time for a break. I miss the fun version of you." Even on fan accounts, reposts of her statement were getting mixed responses. People weren't angry. They were just disconnected. And that's worse than hate. Because in pop culture, when people stop reacting to you with fire, it means the flame's already gone out. For once, the tabloids didn't go wild. They didn't mock her. They didn't amplify her words. They moved on. Articles dropped quietly. No think pieces, no trending tweets, no buzz. Katy's big "I'm still here" moment landed like a press release no one asked for, and the silence from major outlets said it all. The era of Katy Perry commanding culture might be over, because the press doesn't cancel you. It just stops caring. And once Variety, Rolling Stone, and Billboard stop covering your tour, the game changes. Not because you're done, but because you're not news anymore. Sources close to the team say the energy shifted the moment the statement went out. There were no surges in ticket sales, no PR wins, no sudden wave of goodwill. Instead, everything stayed flat. Some even say the vibe backstage changed. Less momentum, more resignation. One label rep reportedly said, "She's trying, but we don't know what people want from her anymore." And that's the heartbreak. Katy Perry is still working, still showing up, still trying to give fans something real, but somewhere along the line, the public stopped knowing what to expect from her and started deciding what she wasn't. And no single caption can fix that. For Katy's core fans, this moment cuts deep. They've been there through Prism, Witness, Smile, American Idol, the memes, the flops, the peaks. They know her catalog, they know her legacy, they believe in her, but now they're torn. Do they keep defending her in a world that doesn't want to listen? Or do they step back, quietly, and let her figure it out alone? Some are posting montages, reminding people of her impact. Others are going radio silent. Some are unfollowing entirely, not in protest, but in peace. Because maybe the loudest message isn't a tweet, it's the absence of one. If you loved an artist who clearly lost their connection with the audience, would you stand by them or let them fall, hoping they find their way back alone? Drop your answer, because that's where Katy's fans are right now. This was her shot, her moment to reset, reconnect, say something raw, weird, wild, real. But instead of owning the moment, Katy seemed to just acknowledge it. Politely, no fire, no weirdness, no old Katy wink. Just another post in a sea of carefully managed PR noise. And in 2025, that kind of silence isn't neutral. It's fatal, because we live in a world where people crave imperfection, mess, vulnerability, and if Katy had shown that, unfiltered, unpolished, unafraid, maybe people would have cared again. But now, she didn't reclaim the spotlight. She confirmed she'd already lost it. Katy Perry is still on tour. Technically, it's not over. The shows are happening, the lights go up, the visuals run, the team posts backstage photos, the dancers do their thing. But the energy is gone. The fans who show up are loyal. Of course, they are. They sing, they cheer, they try. But even in the footage from her best-selling nights, you can feel it. This isn't a victory lap. It's survival. Her voice is strong. Her moves are tight. But the roar she once commanded, it's now a quiet hum, a polite cheer, a nostalgic murmur that says, "We love you, but we're not sure what we're cheering for anymore." And that might be the most painful part, not being mocked, but being softly forgotten. Insiders say the tour team has already started scaling back. No official cancellations yet, but changes are everywhere. The VIP upgrades are disappearing. The stage design is being trimmed. 2 dates were recently merged into a single night due to scheduling updates. One high-profile brand pulled its name from the merch rollout, citing creative adjustments. And PR? Silent. Carefully, professionally silent. Behind the scenes, this is what a wind down looks like. Not an implosion, just a slow exit. Quiet, managed, strategic. And if you weren't paying attention, you'd almost miss it. But fans are noticing. So are blogs. And the narrative is writing itself. Katy Perry's tour didn't crash. It faded. It's brutal, but true. Pop culture doesn't wait. While Katy is still mid-tour, the internet has already moved to the next obsession. New pop girls are dominating charts. TikTok stars are launching EPs and selling out venues in days. Gen Z audiences are building their own icons, ones they feel are theirs, unfiltered, flawed, and funny. And when Katy does pop up online now, it's usually through stitched clips, a meme, a commentary video about what happened to Katy Perry. She's not in the moment. She's being used to explain it. In a world that thrives on reinvention, Katy didn't shift fast enough. She tried to grow without grounding it. She tried to evolve without checking if the audience still knew her, and now she's part of the conversation, but no longer leading it. Here's where things could still flip, but it would take everything. Katy Perry's story doesn't have to end here. Pop history is full of comebacks. Madonna, Mariah, Britney, Miley, they all hit walls. They all had moments where the world gave up on them, and then, somehow, they came back. But what made those comebacks work? Risk, honesty, rawness. Katy doesn't need a better stage. She needs a better reason. No spaceflight branding, no billion-dollar metaphors, no cinematic captions. She needs to tell us the truth about the tour, about the fear, about the moment she realized the world wasn't waiting for her anymore, and what that actually feels like, because that's where the new version of her lives. Not in space, but right here, on Earth. If you had a chance to reinvent yourself, knowing the world had already moved on, would you take the risk and try anyway? Or would you disappear quietly and let them remember you at your peak? Tell me what you would do, because that's the question Katy's facing now. And the clock's ticking. Katy Perry changed pop music. That's not up for debate. She gave us stadium anthems, iconic visuals, a decade of pure escapism. She shaped an era, outlasted critics, and never stopped trying to evolve. But this tour showed something she, and the industry, weren't ready to admit. You can't evolve in a vacuum. You have to bring people with you. And right now, Katy is standing alone on that stage. Still singing, still dancing, still hoping someone's out there listening. The curtain hasn't closed, but it's coming down slowly, and only she can decide whether this is the final number or the pause before something unexpected, something real, rises from the silence. So, what do you think? Is Katy Perry finished, or is this just the quiet before a second raw rise? Drop your thoughts in the comments. No PR, no filters, just honesty. And if you loved this deep dive into the mess, the music, and the meaning behind it all, make sure to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and ring that bell. Because in this industry, silence isn't the end. It's the beginning of what comes next. Stay tuned, stay watching, and never stop listening for what comes after the fall.